Alrighty, what is up, everybody? Cody here, aka Debbie2100, and today's video, I wanted to do another pipe smoking video again today, but with a little bit of a difference on this one. As I said in the last video, I wanted to talk about like some of the new mistakes that I've kind of made here in the beginning of my pipe smoking journey, and one of the ones that you don't always hear everybody talk about all that often. I think I've heard Mutton Chop talk about it in a few videos and a few other guys. It's just the importance of shopping around. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up today was because originally when I picked up this bit of tobacco that I got here, which was actually that blue bag you see up here on the thing right there on the calendar, that is Smoker's Pride Vanilla Cabbage. I keep pointing this way because for me, that way is the actual calendar, but because of the camera angle, everything it doesn't look, it looks like I'm pointing at the wall. But this guy here, the Smoker's Pride Vanilla Cavendish, was what I ended up picking up when I went to Big Smoke originally. And when I went there, I spent roughly around 40, almost $50 on the bag of tobacco. Um, Come to find out, now mind you, at the time, I mean, granted, there is a sale on it right now as well. But at the time when I went and looked online afterwards, that was only $15. So when you start to weigh the options there, you're like, man, I kind of screwed myself on that one. Like I could have spent way less. I mean, I could even went even further less and went with pipe cigars. Just to what's it called, like the best of the rest, or whatever it is. It's whatever the little scraps come from them, weighing out tobacco bulk orders. They end up just picking up the scraps, whatever didn't make it. They put off to the side into a bin. They gets put into these big ass pound bags of just tobacco that's kind of like scraps. So I was like, one of those things where I kind of kicked myself in the pants a little bit for being like, oh well, I pulled the trigger on that one just because it was there, it was a big bag of it. Granted, I bought that, some Paladin dark cherry, black cherry, I think black cherry, I think is what it is. And at the time when I was using it, it was okay. And then literally the next day I went there and got the Lane Limited 1Q and the Lane Limited Very Cherry. And then I was like, oh wow, I like these things way more. And then I legitimately I had this bag for the longest time. I even mixed it with some other tobaccos and stuff like that, like using quite a bit of it, and it just never was like one of those things that I could get behind 100%. It's not so much that it was a bad tobacco or anything like that. It's just that when you already had all these other bulk ones, and then like I then got Autumn Evening from my the cigar lounge. My buddies that worked over there, and I was like, man, this is just a really good tobacco here, and this isn't the good tobacco. I can never see the pull, bring myself back to using that bag of tobacco that I had originally opened. And so I decided that I would jar it and see how it cellared. And now this is literally like 6 or 7 months old, tobacco. And as for an aromatic, it still hasn't lost any of its smell. The taste is still fairly, really good. It's, I'd say it's a very, yeah, creamy vanilla. It's definitely rich in that regard. Is it like the best vanilla? No, in my opinion, the best vanilla I've had is Mac Baron's Vanilla Cream, hands down. Um, it's still a good vanilla though. Like if I have nothing else to smoke or anything like that, this huge jar of it is definitely going to be pretty handy to have. Obviously, because it makes up for when I don't have other tobaccos and stuff like that. And obviously, as I just shifted it out, you can see that it can go all the way to the very top. I mean, it's primarily just, I do believe, some bright Cavendish with some black Cavendish. I think there's a tiny bit of Virginia in this, um, kind of rounded out a bit. And it's not just a steady ribbon cut or chop cut. It's a little mix of both. So you got a little bit of ribbon and a little bit of chop. And the flavor, like I said, it's not bad. It's not a bad tobacco by any means. But did I have a little buyer's remorse when I first bought it? A little bit, and it was more so not because of like the tobacco itself. It was because how much I spent. And I was like, man, I could have spent way less, and then got even more tobacco. Because my first big order that I placed. Now again, I laugh about this because again I should have shopped around a little bit because I went gung ho on pipesandcigars.com and I spent probably roughly like $360 uh, on the website there, and I primarily bought uh, like a bunch of Peterson tins. I bought a couple of the cow tins. I got some Colt Blood Red Moon. Um, I got a bunch of things that I was just like, I want to be able to try all kinds of stuff. Um, actually, one of the original orders I did in there was only a small one. It was Lane Limited RLP 6, and there was another one I ordered. There was another bag one of it. I'm trying to remember what it was. If I looked online, I could probably tell you guys what it is. Uh, give me 1 second. Okay, so I was just looking and I totally forgot. I can't even believe I forgot. It was RLP 6, right? But it was also the 3 bags of Aaron Go Bragg apple crumble. That is what I originally. I can't believe I even forgot about that. That's because I was like, "What is it?" And when as soon as I went and looked, like right below RLP 6 was right where it should have been, and it was missing because it's been discontinued. So it's been pulled out of my order history, oddly enough. Um, so I was like, oh, that's funny. So yeah, I had gotten the 3 bags of Aaron Go Bragg apple crumble, which I absolutely love it. I have just a little bit of that left, so I'm really savoring that the best that I can here. And one of the things that I I really I don't want to say like I had really buyer's remorse when I bought all the Petersons, but it's been the one that I constantly have like a weird, like love and then not necessarily hate, but just like meh kind of relationship with is the connoisseur's choice. And it's one of those ones where like I ended up getting it again this last time, and also some sweet Killarney. That also ended up being one of those ones where I really loved it the first 10 I got. The second 10 I got, I was like, I don't know, just wasn't as strong on the caramel note. Actually, it was kind of weird. It wasn't as strong, and I'm not a big caramel fan. That's why I got it, was because the first 10 was like, whoa, that's really strong caramel, and I really like that. Um, the other one was Peterson's Connoisseur's Choice. I enjoyed the first 10, but I even had a lot of people not really enjoy the room note from it. And they were like, it has a weird smell to it. I'm like, oh, okay. The second 10 I got, one, it was really dry. So every bowl gave me tongue bite, just immensely bad. And I still haven't really learned a good way to rehydrate it yet. I've seen a bunch of different methods, and I just haven't really tried them yet because I'm always afraid that I'm gonna mess it up. I just need to take the risk and do so. Um, Vinegar just a light. It's really moist. I should have dried it out. This isn't gonna be any tongue bite. I wanted the moisture so I could actually again colorize the pipe a bit more. And it's got a fairly balanced, note on this guy, but kind of like honestly, like the connoisseur's choice, it loses the flavor, which isn't a bad thing. I'm getting more just plain tobacco, but with the connoisseur's choice, the term I would always hear from people with a lot of aromatics is like, "Oh, I don't like it because it's hot air." And while I don't necessarily fully understand the whole hot air because it doesn't just taste like hot air to me, it just tastes like cigarette tobacco, even though it's supposed to have. Okay, hold on. Okay, you know, in a second here. Here's the Mac Barrington is so big I can actually put the connoisseur's choice tint inside of this guy. This guy's actually holding my haunted bookshop right now. But it says here that connoisseur's choice is a mixture of golden red and dark Virginia tobaccos in different cuts, rounded off with burly black Cavendish and an irresistible fragrant flavor of rum, coconut, and macadamia nuts. The first tin I opened up, the macadamia nuts was so strong, and I think that's what really made me like that one. This tin, I couldn't smell any macadamia nuts. It was very faint. Now, the walnuts that come through on the deluxe mixture, this one right here, I have liked every single time I bought it. This one is definitely one I will buy many more times from Peterson. I absolutely love the deluxe mixture from them. So this is something about that one that it didn't tickle my fancy as much as I would have liked it to. Where as like the kind of like the Cow Moon Trance, that one it would hit and miss. Like there'd be some days I would absolutely enjoy it, and there'd be some days I just wouldn't enjoy it as much. It would just be like kind of meh. There would not be one I would really say I didn't really like, you know? The Cowbella Vanilla. That one was one I originally was like, oh, I don't really care for this one. It had a really unique smell. It almost smelled like ketchup. Best way I can describe that. It had a really unique smell when you open up the tin. But to taste it, the Madagascar vanilla that was in it, it was actually really good. There we go. I wanted to get that going again. But you know, there's been a few times though when I've bought in some, and then I go back on the site and I see other ones, and I'm like, oh, I should have got that one instead. Like fourth generation, right? I really like a lot of Peter Stokeby tobacco, like the French vanilla one. There's a couple other ones that I've tried. Optimum, that's a pretty good one as well. You know, there's quite a few other Peter Stokeby tobaccos I really do like, and I was like, I really would like to try the Eric Stokeby ones from fourth generation, and they got a bunch of them usually on sale on the website usually. And what I've noticed though is I need to go between smokingpipes.com, Pipe Cigars. There's two other sites I remember seeing. I need to go back to figure out what the name of them was. I think like one was like B&B or something like that, tobacco. Um, and there was another one that was kind of like an off-brand one. But both of them had a lot of listings on there for tobacco, and I was like, dang, okay, that's a pretty good listing right there for a good deal of tobacco there. Especially because I would like to get a lot more of the Cornell and Deal line. They have so many different blends. And it's like one of those ones where you're like, you feel like a kid in a candy shop. You're like, well, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. It's just like, oh man, there's just so many to choose from. It's funny. Not getting any gurgle from this one like I would do usually from the Colt Blood Red Moon. So it's kind of telling me that there's not as much moisture building up like this with this one. Just like with my, I actually was smoking some of the Midtown Sweet Cast. Now, okay, there have been a few moments like the apple crumble the Midtown Sweet Cast, where at first I might have bought, and I was like, oh man, maybe I got a little buyer's remorse. Maybe I shouldn't have bought that one, or maybe I should have bought more of it, whatever the case is, right? And then it got discontinued. I was like, don't even care. Glad I got it because at the end of the day, now I have some, and it got discontinued. At least I got to try it before it was gone. So I've got to try the apple crumble. Uh, and I have, that tub, because you guys can see it's up there. It's the literally the one. Let's see if I can do this just right. Right there. It's the Midtown Hearth and Home Sweet Cask, and I'm trying. I think it was Sugar Barrel was the one to replace. I heard somebody say it was actually not Sugar Barrel; that it was something else that they replaced it because Sugar Barrel was from Sutliff, and even though that one you would think because it's got the barrels on it, right? That's what it's supposed to replace, and that's what I was told. There's actually somebody who told me that's actually no, it's a replacement for one that was from John Middleton's tobacco line that was very similar to Sugar Barrel, which is and then I've also heard people tell me that Sugar Barrel was made by John Middleton, not Sutliff. It's one of those weird ones. I need to go and look down the history line of Sutliff tobaccos and John Middleton tobacco. For those that don't know, John Middleton ones are the ones that make like Prince Albert and stuff, which I absolutely love the Prince Albert line. And because I'm really the only one using this one, it's funny to see that even after about, I'd say 4 months I've had this tub. That's where I'm at with the tobacco. It is just a pure burley blend, and I absolutely love that pure burley mixture. It's so good. And when you smoke this one, it's got such a great scent. The room note is always so good. I mean, hell, even somebody like my little sister's always like, "Oh, that smells really good" when I'm smoking it. So, I mean, she can enjoy it. Anybody can really enjoy the smell of that one. I absolutely love the Prince Albert. Don't get me wrong, Carter Hall is a great one. Don't get me wrong, Carter Hall is great. It's a mixture of I do believe Virginia and Burley, whereas that one's just a straight Burley mixture. I love that one. I do want to try half and half, and a lot of the other, which are like Velvet. Velvet's another one I really want to try. Uh, Ooh, excuse me. I'm trying to use my fingers there to kind of create a little bit more suction on the top of the bowl. This is a really dry burning tobacco. I guess I'm actually impressed with this one. It doesn't. It's not like just a. I say it's not like a plain burnt taste. It's got just a plain pipe tobacco taste. And it's not bad. I mean, like I said, I actually don't mind having that, so I can kind of help conserve more on my cold blooded moon and a few other of my other ones I really enjoy, like like my haunted bookshop or my Peter Stokeby mixed up one here I have here of Peter Stokeby French vanilla mixed with Lane Limited BCA, which I have actually a tin, a little bit of Lane Limited BCA right here, and I got my deluxe mixture sweet Killarney right there. I got a little bit of the Lane Limited HS3 still. Um, the Autumn Evening that's over there, and then trying to think whatever the one I have other than I got the Carter Hall and Sweet Cask over there. Um, I can't remember the one that's on the very top up there. And then I also have the English over there, the Consummate Gentleman from Ashton. And I'll say for a little bit drier one, their Smooth Sailing. Really like that one. These again, the biggest thing that I've had buyer's remorse on has been the smoker's pride bag, and it was just how much I spent on it. But I would say too, when you are doing that shopping, be sure to look around at all the sites that you possibly can. Look locally as well, and weigh the option. Sure, locally you might be able to get it. Maybe it's going to cost a bit more, but it's going to be now. You order it. And I always would say, if you can go to your like somewhere local and buy something bulk, like Lane Limited 1Q, or something like that. If you have to get Captain Black, it's pretty much the same things. You can get like some, Captain Black, either black or white or platinum. Those are some really popular ones. Royals, another really popular one by that lineup. You get something like that. Uh, Again, Velvet, half and half, Sir Walter Raleigh. There's lots of like classic ones you could get like in a local place, that'll tie you over until you get like your order in from, Pipe Cigars, smokingpipes.com, wherever you're buying your tobacco from. If you put that order in, you just make sure you have tobacco that's going to, last you until you get in your tobacco. If you don't have even a pipe yet until that point, I would even, urge you to go look to see if you can go get where did I put them? Course, oh, that's right. I put them over there. My corn cobs. I was thinking about the Missouri Meerschaum corn cobs. Those are usually like 15, $20 at most smoke shops. Like they're really inexpensive pipes. They're really good ones too. And they got a whole assortment. I wouldn't go for the hardwood ones or whatever they are. I would much rather just go with the regular corn cob. And if you're not going to get a corn cob, go with briarwood. That's the only one I would really go with. Pearwood is only acceptable in my opinion if it's a Mr. Brog, just because Poland pearwood is like the best, or Polish pearwood is the best, I should say. And so they make a hella pipe, and I absolutely love this guy. It's a great one. Um, and again, you can get all kinds of great pipes online. There's all kinds of amazing pipes and deals on them and everything. One of my favorite things about MBSD is going to MBSD, clicking on $100 or less, and then looking at the list of pipes that they have listed there for under $100, and there is a lot of great ones. Like Pierre Vitali, he makes a lot of amazing looking pipes. I mean, a lot of authors, a lot of nice straight ones, nice full bends, quarter bends, a lot of just really nice billiards, volcanoes. He's got some good apples as well. And for those that don't know, like this would be your standard style apple pipe, you know, author kind of style pipe, a full bent style. And literally, there's some that look almost exactly like these Petersons. So obviously, they're going to be using a fishtail instead of a P-lip. So my contact keeps messing with me. I do this a lot, and I'm sure people have seen me do it in the videos quite a bit. I do it to mess with my contact to kind of like get it like back on the eyeball. I feel like. Hmm. Now, have I had any buyer's remorse on pipes? Only a couple, and they've been the ones that I got from Big Smoke. So one of them I ended up giving to my mom just to have as like one of like a kind of like an ornament piece. It was reflective and shiny. It was a Fujima pipe is what it's called. Then there was a smaller one that I have. I've let her use that one. Um, I shouldn't say really buyer's remorse on that one. It's just I hated the stupid little metal stinger filter that came in it. On top of the fact that I also just really did not like the fact that we had to glue the damn thing in. Once you take the filter out, it doesn't want the stem doesn't want to sit in there properly. So it's like that's dumb. Um, that and honestly, like as weird as it might sound, I do kind of regret spending $20 on this little dude. It's like yes, I have a little meerschaum pipe, and it was kind of nice to have at least a little meerschaum pipe for a little while. But I so much rather enjoy this one more. You know, maybe it's because it's a full stem. Like, honestly, I'd have to say, other than that, I don't have really that much buyer's remorse so far on any of the pipes. Um, Especially not any of the big guys that I've gotten over here. This one, like I said, has been the only one I would say I just am meh on because I just don't use it as much, right? This brandy one, but I know I'll find a use for this eventually. There'll be a tobacco that I only like smoking out of, and I know that'll come eventually. But I will say I have really enjoyed this Meerschaum. My favorite one, I would say, yeah, it's really hard to say like in order of like my number one favorite two, right? It's like both the Petersons are favorites, the Romo Raposo, the Berosini, my little German Briar, billiard one that's been another favorite of mine. I gotta say already, my Calabash has definitely added to it just because I absolutely love the style of that first Calabash as well. Really love this Mr. Brog. Like pretty much all my pipes I enjoy. They're all like my favorites. That's the funny thing is like I really don't have a favorite that I use more than the other one because I tend to like really just rotate all my pipes daily. Like I usually be like, okay, I'm gonna use these three this time, I'm gonna use these three this time, I'm gonna use that three. That's kind of how I've been doing it. And that way by the next time I go to use, another set, it's already been enough time for them to have rested long enough so that way I can still kind of do that. Because when I first was starting off, I didn't let them rest at all. It was like, no, we're just gonna go back to back to back to back to back, just bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl after bowl. And it was like, dude, I'm probably breaking in these things way faster than I probably should be. So and again, it's one of those things. I know most people are like, well, yeah, obviously I know to shop around, but you just don't hear a lot of people always, do that. I think that a minute of like, hey, I screwed up, and it's like I know that I messed up doing the whole, not doing the proper look around first. And I did look a good deal before I just bought those ones, but I'd already been looking at those ones for so long that I was like, I know I want those ones, and then you finally get them, and you're like, damn, I really liked that, and that one. A lot. And the other ones, I could have done without them. I could have got, more of those guys, or I got other different ones. And so, and again, the beauty though is there's so much tobacco out there to try that again, I'm excited to see what other ones that I will either absolutely love or it'll be like meh, you know. Or maybe I'll find ones I actually don't like. I haven't found one yet, so I'm curious if I find one of those. But I'd love to hear though down below. Let me know if there has been a moment for you where you've gotten buyer's remorse, with pipe tobacco or pipe yourself. And how did you remedy the situation? Did you end up giving it away or did you end up selling it? What was the case? And again, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely let me know what you guys thought of it down below as well. And if you didn't like it, let me know as well, because again, I can try to change whatever you guys aren't liking in the videos and try to actually, try to tweak them a little bit, here and there to however you guys are kind of, critiquing it in that regard. But also, if you like the video, though, hit that like button and also be sure to hit the subscribe button. It really does help out a lot, and I truly do appreciate it. This has been your boy Cody, aka Debbie. I will see you guys all in the next one. Deuces, my friends.